What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV Daily, your source for daily tech news. Make sure you subscribe so you know what's going on in the world of tech. How is everyone doing? Hope you're having a fantastic day. We literally have zero tech news today, but we have some really good questions. And we're going to talk about a story that was developing yesterday, and that is about the outside display of the Galaxy Z Fold 4 and why it will be bigger. So without further ado, let's jump into these questions. First question comes from Lionel Scenaros. I probably butchered it. Lionel says, what are some good earbuds for good quality music and talking on the phone? I love the Galaxy Buds Pro. Also, the Galaxy Buds 2 are really good. If those are out of your budget, then I would probably go with, man, I test so many headphones, it's tough for me to remember. I'd probably look at some of the Anker ones. Anker makes some that are in like the $50 range. Look at those ones. Next up is from Wayne Karpensky saying, if the S Pen won't be inside the Z Fold 4, will it still have the special S Pen ability like the Z Fold 3? I don't know what you mean by the special S Pen capability like the Z Fold 3, because Z Fold 3 doesn't really have special capabilities. Now you can use the Pro version. You should be able to use that on the Z Fold 4. I don't see why not, but it won't have any of the Bluetooth functionality, such as it shouldn't, unless I don't see that it will. So it shouldn't be able to take photos with the S Pen or control it from a distance away either. Tevin C, do you think virtual RAM is an excuse for Android to give us less RAM and charge us more? I see Samsung has already started that trend. I don't know if Samsung's starting that trend purposefully to decrease the amount of RAM to keep their phones cheaper. I mean, it kind of would be smart in a way to be like, hey, you can still get that RAM made up in your virtual RAM storage. I don't know if they're, it's a good point. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's why they're doing it, but it doesn't fully match up with regular RAM, at least. You know, regular RAM will probably always beat virtual RAM, but it does help alleviate some of the RAM issues if it does need it. Albert Vidal says, is the Fold 4 going to be closer in appearance to an Oppo Find N since it's rumored to be more square? Well, probably, but not fully. I think the Oppo Find N is a lot more square and a lot more short and fat. I think it's going to be very marginally more square, meaning probably a little bit more fatter, but a little bit more shorter. I don't think it's going to be hugely noticeable like the Oppo Find N is next to some of the other foldable phones. Face of 1000 Faces says, do you think with the wider display on the big screen that the front screen would get wider as well? And that's where I was talking about in the beginning. Yes, I think we will, and I'm glad you brought that up because it's something I wanted to talk about today because I forgot to mention it yesterday. Since the displays will be wider, especially on the main display, it just makes sense in a general sense that the outside display would also most likely be wider. Now, how much wider? I would guess, again, they're probably going to shorten the top and add some of the girth so it's a little bit, wider out. And that's where I think we're going to see it. Again, will it be hugely much more wider? Probably not, but I would guess 10 to 20%, which will make quite a bit difference, especially with making the keyboard bigger on the inside, the outside display, just making pretty much anything better feeling on there. Let me go to the search function because the keyboard is just so small on here. It's one of the things I hate using on here. I think it's just going to make, that'll be one of the biggest improvements seemingly will be the outside display with the notch. Should be, again, a wider display for us to enjoy and be a little bit better and more comfortable to use. JRB says, if and when do you think graphene batteries will show up in Samsung or any makers' phones? You haven't heard anything about it. I really don't have a time frame, but I see Field PJ Devis said 3 to 5 years. Honestly, it sounds about right if I had to guess. And the last question from Timothy Hammock, if I wanted my first foldable, but is on the fence about the foldable phones, what would you recommend, the Fold 3 or wait for the Fold 4? Now I have a video about this coming out this week. I already made it. I would recommend the Fold 4. And I'll go into deeper reasons on that, but I'll leave it at that, Fold 4. Just wait for the Fold 4. There you guys go. That is your question for today. If you have a question, leave it in the comments down below with the word question as the first word, and I'll answer it in tomorrow's video, and we'll see you down the road. Peace.